Hello everyone. I hope you are hearing me well. Let me check first. Mic check. Laurent, do you hear me properly?
Perfect.
Okay. So hi all, welcome to this expert outlook on the customer journey organized by Center Parcs, Equancy, and Funnel. We are going to share a video waiting a minute for other attendees to join. So enjoy that video.
People who bought olives also bought Chardonnay.
Oh, all right. 78% of people who viewed Chardonnay also bought What to Do When He's Not That Into You.
Well, I'm just wanting to get some olives, so...
Why not buy all three?
Oh, yeah.
Because I don't really need them.
It'll give you a total saving of 7 pence.
I think I'll still pass, actually.
Just some wine then.
No, sorry. What? You didn't know. Excuse me. Excuse me. I'm not buying this wine.
Are you sure you want to remove that item from your basket?
Yes. Why not try something new?
What, and buy something totally random that I've never shown any interest in?
Wilson Cape Memorial mug?
Yeah, okay, I'll take the mug. Obviously I'm joking, aren't I?
Oops, I need to go to the next slide. Okay, so before we start, let me just introduce myself. So I'm Agnès, I'm Digital and Media Analytics Director at Equancy. I support clients in the development of end-to-end data-driven projects, which are related to marketing, media efficiency, conversion rate, and measurement. So I wanted to show you this video because, as you know, customer journey is not a new topic. This Google video is indeed from December 2012, but understanding and enhancing the omnichannel customer journey is even more important, especially with the different constraints that we have in the, I would say, digital industry. So to discuss this, we have gathered a panel of specialists to highlight the latest customer trends, the best practices to improve customer journey and CRO, customer conversion rate optimization, and how Center Parcs, one of the most advanced European brand in e-commerce, improves its customer journey. And we will finish by a Q&A session, so don't hesitate to use the chat box in the system to ask all your questions. Thank you to all special speakers who will intervene today. So before going into detail of the content, let me introduce Laurent Lemercier. So Laurent, if you want to just say a few words about what you do.
Yeah, sure. Hello, everyone. So I'm working at Center Parcs. I'm responsible for web product merchandising and studio. So I will go over indeed in terms of discovery and web performance that we do at Center Parcs.
Eric?
Hi everyone, I'm Eric Werner. I work as an analyst and CRO specialist in Funnel, and I will talk a little bit about best practices and 8 rules of experimentation later.
Thank you. And you know me already, Papa.
Hi everyone, I'm Papa Sangone. I'm a senior manager in digital and analytics at Equancy, working on CRO, tracking, and other digital customer journey topics.
Thank you all. So let me introduce Equancy before we go in the detail of the different trends we see among our clients. So Equancy is a consulting firm that was created 20 years ago. Our mission is to address the growth and performance challenges of our clients by exploiting new technologies, artificial intelligence, obviously data, And our strength is to combine expertise in strategy, data science, technology, performance, media marketing, and we have skills in many industries. And we are a member of the European Digital Group, which brings together specialists in, I would say, data, digital, and all the detail I gave a few minutes ago. And our objective is really to accelerate our clients' business. So, going to detail the different topics that we are about to address.
Yes, our first topic today is the latest trends in customer journey. So we are working for various clients, and we have identified trends that we see companies putting into place for improving their digital customer journey, and we are going to go into details on those on the next slide. So the first one, there seems to be an issue with this. This slide is something missing. Well, I will just do the voiceover. So basically what we have identified is today, 85% of companies, customers say that they are more likely to do business with companies that share their values, that show the importance of customer social responsibility, companies' social responsibility in customer journey. And what we see more and more companies doing on that area is first giving the opportunity to donate to some organization, for instance, or offset the carbon footprint by buying, for instance, some package to plant some trees. That's something that is very common in the travel industry, for instance. We also see that companies are more and more willing to show information related to the carbon footprint impact of the activities. So more and more customers are choosing to display options that we allow to compare different delivery methods in order to help the customers choosing the method that will have the least impact on the planet. The repairability index is more and more shown on various websites, and that also help customers to choose the right product for the plan. The last one is everything around inclusivity, which includes, of course, a representation of all layers of the society, but also everything around accessibility that we most of the time don't take into account. And I think Laurent will go more into details on that, on what they are doing on their site. And we also include in that area everything around web performance and web performance. If we go to the next topic, it's everything around artificial intelligence. Basically, chatbots, artificial intelligence have always been present when we're talking about conversion rate optimization. So basically, we've always used machine learning to improve the algorithms and the different use case personalization that we are doing on websites. But what is new now is the usage of generative AI to improve the chatbots. And one study from Forrester Research showed that 30% of companies say that they have reduced the cost of customer support by using generative AI. Generative AI is bringing some new things compared to the traditional chatbots, because now we have AI that are multilingual and don't need to be trained in several languages. They bring also emotional intelligence. That's something that is kind of new in the AI or the chatbot world, and that is brought by generative AI. Contextual understanding. So basically now the chatbot can understand the page you are, what you are doing on the website, and generate recommendation based on that. and also everything around automated customer interaction, because of course, when the chatbot understand what you are doing on the website, there are prompts that can appear throughout the journey to help you achieve what you are trying to do. So that also a new trend that we have identified. And another one is everything around omnichannel and CDPs. So CDPs is not a very recent trend, but we see that we are gaining more and more traction on this topic. So a study from the CDP Institute is showing that more than half of their members have already implemented or are implementing CDP right now, and they have 30% of their members that are planning to implement a CDP in the next 30 months. CDP is basically one tool that will allow to unify all data that we have from the customer in order to activate it. And this has some clear customer benefits because the customer will be exposed to one message that is consistent on all channels. So that's the key benefits of using it. And some studies here are also showing that it is clearly helping companies, because we see that companies that use CDP can reduce their churn rate by 10%. So it is something that is smoothing the customer journey, and that is more and more deployed in most companies. And I think by next year, we'll have this tool becoming more and more a must-have in an advanced marketing tech stack. Then I will pass the mic to Agnes for the next trend.
Okay, so the first trend is something that, again, is not necessarily new, but really essential to the customer journey. So, in fact, respecting user privacy is not just about compliance and tracking. It's also about building trust with your audience. We, a few years ago, already did a webinar about trust and how you can what you should put in place to optimize the content and everything that is related to privacy. So it's not new, but again, it's super important, because by creating a transparent and user-friendly experience, you are more likely, obviously, to receive informed and positive consent from your website visitors. So, as you know, privacy regulations have impacted the way we collect and use customers' data. So for us at Equancy, we think that already the first step to improve customer journey is to optimize the cookie banner, because when they come, at least for the digital journey, it's one of the first things they see. So the other option is also to go further and implement a preference center. So these are trends that, well, the cookie banners are already implemented, but the most important thing is really to focus on that element again, because it's the first thing that your visitors see when they come to your website. And to improve this, it's important to pay attention, focus on implementing A/B testing to experiment different version of your cookie banner, test variation in wording, design, placement, to make sure that you identify the most effective approach to optimize your customer journey. So the other trend, the last one, the fifth one, is something that is going to be detailed by Laurent. It's capitalizing on customer voice to optimize the customer journey. So briefly, and based on the constraint I just mentioned before, so the consent rate and the trust, It's a way to collect customer feedback by, we think, creating an exclusive relationship with your audience. You will see how it's implemented in Center Parcs, but it's really how you can get very qualitative feedback, even though there won't be a lot of volume when you go for a live approach, but it's really something that is qualitative and essential, that can be essential to the optimization of your customer journey. So the key success is not just in collecting data, it's also how you leverage this data to make it more data-driven decisions and improve the customer journey. So it's really important to identify the key touch point. You want to get some feedback from your clients that are significant and that can make a difference and impactful, because you always have to relate the impact and the effort and evaluate the return on investment. The last thing regarding customer voice, it's important to monitor and analyze and collect the feedback, continuously iterate. As you know, it's continuous improvement, because you are going to test different things and gain some feedback from the things that you are testing, and then improve and test different approaches. So it's an ongoing process to make the customer journey more efficient. And for those that are not, or at least to start getting customer feedback, you can just implement surveys, online surveys, at various stages of the customer journey to gather direct feedback. So these were the trends that we saw within our clients. So now Eric is going to detail the best practices that Funnel has seen amongst its clients.
Yes, thank you so much, Agnes. I'm gonna talk a little bit about best practices for CRO and what we call the 8 rules of experimentation, to build on the trends that you just pointed out. And this is the small agenda that I'm going to walk you through. I'm going to talk a little bit about the data trend and how Funnel plays part in that, and talk a little bit about the CRO foundation. And then the 8 rules of experimentation. Everybody's talking about experimentation and A/B tests and optimizing, but what does it actually take to do this in a structured way and reap the benefits? And then I'm going to share some real-life examples from Funnel, and then I'm going to end with some few key takeaways. And just shoot questions if you come up with anything while I speak, and I will try to answer them in the end. Okay, so we are in the commercial and marketing domain, and as we all know, the datafication of marketing is continuously ongoing. We get more and more data, and we increase marketing spend for every year, and it moves from analog to digital, and it gets messier and messier, but also funnier and funnier for all of us that are working with it. But marketing data is difficult. Most CMOs find that marketing data and analytics is a large gap in their teams. We did a survey, and 26% actually identified that marketing data and analytics is a problem, and they have a gap in their team. So there are more than 10,000 marketing platforms and apps, and this map here, they grows for every day. And the average digital marketer uses or have to live with more than 20 different tools and platforms each day. Funnel, we are trying to solve that. We are a marketing data hub where we try to collect data from marketing channels, e-commerce platforms, and be that marketing data hub where we store all the data, and you can send it out, you can make sense of it. So Funnel tries to power your reporting and analytics in order to getting control of data, make sense out of it, and being able to take good actions on it. And I'm not saying this as a sales pitch, but I will try to connect this with what I'm actually going to talk to you about regarding CRO. So ad spend is increasing, and users are pouring into all of our websites, but we need to optimize for them. It's not enough to just drive traffic and increase ad spend. So if we're increasing ad spend and we're not optimizing, we're actually wasting a lot of potential. So we need to do both, and that's where CRO comes into play. And conversion.com, I think it was, did a report where they surveyed different organizations, and 20% of organizations that actually work with CRO as a way of working, they report an increasing conversion rate between 20 to 40% annually. So it's a huge gap, or it's a huge difference between the companies that are mature and working with CRO in a structured way and those who don't. So this is the compounding effect of iteration and continuously improving. So there are a bunch of different customer journeys. We all represent different customer journeys. CRO started kind of with the e-commerce case where you have transactions and orders, and we have a checkout, and we want to optimize that. It's very close to revenue and transactions. Then we have a bunch of different digital services, everything from booking systems to insurances to banks, whatever. They also optimize a lot. And we have SaaS businesses who is now starting to work with CRO as a tool to a greater extent. But they all have different use cases and customer journeys, but they share the same core foundation. And the foundation to work with CRO, the way we think about it, is that number one, you have to start with the team. You have to have the right people with the right skills to work with this. When you have that, you have to define a process and find a structured way of working with it. And on top of that, you need to have data. You need to track and measure everything you need, and you need to be able to rely on that data. You have to be confident that you're tracking the thing you need, and that data is reliable. And on top of that, you need different tools. You need an A/B testing tools. You need research tools. You need analytics tools, and all of that. So it kind of stacks on. And you need to start with the bottom, and it's kind of a pyramid where you stack on top. You cannot do it without the foundation. And to continue this, then we have identified what we call 8 rules for experimentation. What it actually takes when you have the foundation in place, how to really think about CRO and what best practices are there. So first rule, when to not run an A/B test, or rather know when not to run an A/B test. Because there is a kind of a hierarchy of evidence where A/B test or randomized control tests in science are the golden standard. That's where we can get the biggest certainty of a correlation between an original and a variant. But it's also on top. It's a top level of that pyramid. So there are many cases when A/B test is not feasible or not the most valuable thing. So it's a fine balance to know when not to run a test. And a few examples of that would be when you have too little traffic, when the change is not drastically different. If you run an original and a variant and you just changing the color of a button, for example, that's probably not going to yield any significance. Or you're short on time. If you want to learn something in a very short amount of time for 2 weeks, and you know that this experiment is going to take, or you don't know, but it could be the fact that you need to run it for 2 months to learn anything, that an A/B test is not a good way to learn as much as possible, which is what we're after. So in order to optimize stuff, you need to ensure that you have control of key flows. And control of key flows can mean a bunch of things. It can be you have full control of the code, so you can change everything you want. You can build the front end you want, the experience you want. You have full control with tracking, so you can implement all the tracking and tools and have all the data you need in order to learn and set up experiments. But you also have to control organizationally to make sure that you have all stakeholders on board, so you can do the change you want to change and run in this experiment. And with that comes trust. So ensure control of key flows is key to being able to get velocity in your experimentation. And this is an example. I'm going to get back to it a little bit later, but to the left we have a booking flow or a calendar built out of the box from HubSpot. It works. It does its trick. You can book a meeting, which is our primary metric, but we couldn't control this at all. We didn't have tracking in place within the calendar, and we couldn't manipulate the front end. So we had to rebuild a brand new booking flow, which you see in the variant here to the right. And it's seemingly similar, but we were able to generate 25% more meetings through this experience. I'm going to get back a little bit to that later. Just an example of how to ensure control and the value of it. And then rule 3, do the research. And then it's not about Google. It's not about subjective opinions. It's about doing the real research and using the tools that are out there to really get to the core of what we're trying to improve. And there are a bunch of different tools, but there are kind of 2 main blocks. We have the qualitative research, which is unstructured data. It's typically in text or form. Some types of qualitative research are surveys with open-ended questions, interviews, talk to your customers, talk to users, do 5-second tests, look at screen recordings. There's a bunch of good tools here. We are using Hotjar, Full Story, Maze, and Gong in Funnel, for example, to do this qualitative research. And then, on the other hand, you have quantitative research, which is structured data in numeric format. This is the typical analytics data. So you have, in our case, we have HubSpot, we have Funnel, we use Google Analytics 4, and Looker. So, the rule number 4, narrow it down. Try to isolate the experiment to one area that you control. And try to avoid other changes at the same time. I don't know how many experiments we have started, and then we get one with seeming result, and then something changes. And that change might be because we have changed the strategy when it comes to acquisition, we have done a change on the start page, we have done something else that has impacted the experiment, so we had to just stop the experiment. We couldn't draw any conclusions from it. So try to keep it simple, try to narrow it down and isolate the experiment as much as possible. And inform the organization in order to avoid them doing stuff that you're not aware of that might influence the experiment. And then plan the experiment. We are using different calculators to plan the sample size, the minimum detectable effect, so we can get an estimation of how long we need to run this experiment in order for any conclusions to be drawn from it. And I wish you can find these links later. And then prioritize hard. We are using 3 criteria or a model that is called the PI framework, where potential, importance, and ease are the 3 criteria that we use to prioritize. And it's really valuable to prioritize and prioritize hard, because you usually have a limited amount of avenues to optimize. So you have to make sure that you are all the time running the experiment, which gives you the most bang for the buck. So this is essential. Rule 7, tied to revenue. It's one thing to look at metrics, and it's usually web metrics, and it's kind of hard, it's kind of disconnected with the revenue, but try to tie it to revenue for yourself, but also for the rest of the organization to show the impact of Xero. This is an example of how we've done it. We built a Looker dashboard where we combine experiment data with revenue data in HubSpot. So I could geek about this for an hour, but we are pushing experiment data as a parameter in a HubSpot form, and then we can tie it together in HubSpot, send it to Looker dashboard through Funnel, and then we can look at this and see the experiment quality through the whole sales process in Funnel, which is extremely powerful and has been a game changer. Rule 8, analyze and share. It's crucial to understand the impact, and it's not always easy. You have one result in your A/B testing tool or platform, but it doesn't really tell the whole picture. So you have to go into the details, you have to turn it upside down, you have to discuss, you have to understand what is happening. And we have built an optimizedly connector in HubSpot, in Funnel, custom connector in this case. So we can actually analyze this and combine marketing data to tie together why I started with the Funnel platform. We can actually tie together marketing data with experiment data and revenue data in the end. And then we have built another Looker Studio report on this. So we can really understand what's happening in the experiment. And then we have built or created a template, which is a one-pager, super simple. We write the hypothesis, we tell some experiment information, and then we share this as at the end of each experiment for the rest of the organization. So that is also crucial to get this positive loop in the organization for people to understand what you're actually doing when you're working with optimization and zero. Okay, I'm talking really fast, so I'm just gonna go through the last couple of slides here. I'm running out of time. This is some iterations of the booking flow that took us to the example that I showed you before. So we had running 3 experiments with different hypotheses. We went from the old HubSpot calendar to this new shiny calendar. The total uplift was 25, but it was a journey to get there. So it was 3 experiments stacked on top of each other. Then we ran another experiment on the start page where we introduced a product explainer video. This is an example of a small uplift or a small win, but it was still a win. So we were able to increase conversion here on the start page just by increasing the product understanding. And I want to show an example of something with a negative impact. We introduced a product demo video where we showcased the product on our main conversion point. That actually had a negative impact on conversion. It seemed like our conclusion was that, okay, then they got the information they needed, so they weren't as prone to talk with sales as we wanted. And then another example of an experiment that was inconclusive. We want to improve findability by introducing a search box on our most important landing page. It yielded no result. We couldn't draw any conclusions from it in the A/B test, so it was inconclusive. But we had to fall back on our common judgment, and we said, this is actually a good experience. This helps the user. So we're going to introduce it on the landing page anyways. So I just want to show you those 3 kind of examples of experiments that we've been running. And these are the key takeaways that I'm going to end with. So number 1, get the foundation in place. 2, live by the 8 rules of experimentation. And 3, start small and be really patient because this takes time. It's one thing to just run some experiments, but to get the whole machine working takes time. But it's fun and it creates a data-driven culture, and it's super fun to work with as a team and as a whole company. So yes, that's all from me. Thank you. Over to you, Laurent.
Thank you. Yeah, so as I present myself quickly just before, so I'm in the e-commerce directions with 3 major scope: web product with product manager, product owner, UX and UI, emergentizing team, and studio team. So at Center Parcs, the digital is key. The web, as you can see, represents almost 70% of the total revenue. Direct, indirect, all channels, 70%. So of course, focusing on optimizing the user experience is crucial there for the business, for the conversion. And if you check on the mobile sessions also, we are mobile first because indeed 75% of sessions are done via a mobile device. And on some operation, we can even reach 85% of sessions. So of course, optimizing the mobile experience is a priority. We have won delivered by Content Square in 22 the best conversion funnel, the best e-commerce checkout, and this year we have won the best app for the DX Awards of Content Square. So as I say, if you want to optimize user experience, the starting point is to understand and know your user. As you can see here, the toy seems the perfect toy from the parent's point of view. But if you check from the baby point of view, which is the final end user, is just a bunch of 4 bottoms of pets that he has above his head. So indeed, not really the same perception. So I would say that here, put yourself in customer shoes. So for that, we need to start with discovery before talking about delivery. And discovery is really about understanding what to build based on user needs, perceptions, pain points. You need to understand via user tests, usability testing, surveys, talking with your guests. Quick overview of our tool stack, Hotjar, as mentioned just before, but I would like to talk a little bit about the internal panel. we have created our own European internal panel, which gave us today around 25,000 of volunteers inside. Most of them are our guests, and we have the chance to have very loyal and very engaged customers. And just one example, the last survey that we have launched, which was about the loyalty program, generated around almost 20% response rate, which is huge for volunteer panelists on that. And it's really about co-creation in that approach. And it's really a panel open for all departments. Different have already used it, like revenue management, pricing, product marketing, CSR. It's really open to everyone. And then after, we have traditional tools that like Content Square, Google Analytics, Testapic, which is a distance user testing, and VWO, Visual Web Optimizer, which is used for our A/B test and personalization, which is also key for conversion rate optimization, of course. Here is an overview. Of course, I will not go over in details of all of them about the qualitative and quantitative methodology and tools that we have implemented at Center Parcs. Just one key message for qualitative. It's not sometimes so long, and it could be for free, and you are able to get some valuable feedback. Just one example, call center listening. You can learn a lot also from the voice, directly from the voice or if you're a user. And really important that we have done at Center Parcs also to create a good connection with call center, to have transparency and feedback from our guests on a daily basis. Another example, collaborators interview. Asking the feedback of someone in your team, in another department, even if there is the BA of the internal, we are in the same company, at the end you have feedback, and it's better than zero feedback. So it's free, it takes not so much time, but you can have, on the other hand, a lot of valuable feedback, potentially. Concerning the quantitative part, I will make a zoom on one experience analytics tools, because we talk about user experience today, that we have, which is Content Square. On Content Square, you have different features. Some of them are on the slides. So you have a sunburst, which is a visual representation of the user journey from the entry to the exit, page by page, and you can detect some friction points, some looping behavior where you can see that user going back and forth, which is not normal and expected. And also, you can have a view on the conversion funnel, for example, where you can detect any unexpected drop-offs on the different stage that you want to follow. And of course, on-page behaviors, KPIs like the scroll rate, the tap rate on your device, the rage click, which is very frustrating, and so on. And some other features like the session replay, for example, where you can see the video of your sessions. Here, it's in French, but it's just some extract of Ojar. When we say feedback is a gift, here is a good example that feedback is a gift. Ojar is part of our daily routine. We check it during the day and each morning. And we have some feedbacks of different nature. Some of them are bugs, and we didn't detect by ourselves some issue on the website. So thank you for our user to detail the bugs they were confronted and help us to fix it. But they also provide some suggestions and ID that could be also in our backlog to deep dive then. So very powerful. Dog fooding is the idea saying that eat your own dog food, saying that if you want to have a product and successful product, just start using it by yourself and incitate your team, of course, to use it. So that's the reason why we go also directly in our parks. So here, for example, we were and we are at Village Nature with normally the face is hidden, but of the guest, but a real guest who is making some usability testing on a prototype. It was the optimization of the pre-checking on the application, and we were just listening, talking with him, and collecting a lot of different feedbacks. And after working on new iteration and testing again with a new client and guest for a continuous discovery approach. It could be linked to a project. It could be also very exploratory approach in terms of discovery. Here, this picture is the business center at Village Nature. And when it's empty, not booked, we transform it as a discovery lab. The concept is simple. We welcome the guests who are in the park at Village Nature to come in and test our prototypes on the application, on the website, and we discuss with them, and we collect a maximum of feedback to always optimize, co-create, and work on the user experience. So some are based on application and mobile websites. Some could be on the desktop version, very large. And of course, we think about the children when the parents are making some user testing with a dedicated place for them. So here again is really powerful talking with them, and it goes beyond just a one-pager of your persona on PowerPoint. You go with them, you discover your clients, you discuss with them, and you go one step above. Another initiative was to implement in June the first event in our headquarters in Paris with our guests. And one part of the event was workshops on the application, workshops on the website. And here again, just an opportunity to collect feedback, discuss with them, and build a real relation. We have also printed some pictures of our guests that we have displayed on the wall. We have a customer wall in our office. So it's also a reminder that you work for them, and it's not just, I say, a persona or figures. It's real people, and it's really powerful when you know them and discuss with them. So after you have a lot of ideas, a lot of feedbacks, the goal, of course, is prioritization. What we do is, of course, not what you see, saying that, okay, you have a list of features, you prioritize with a rise of PIE, as you presented just before, Eric, and after you throw everything away and you listen to what the management wants. That's not the case. We are, of course, in building ROI-based roadmap for impactive projects. So that's the goal. And with that data, it's just another opinion. So it's really based on, and we are data driven. And data is good, monitoring is good, but alerting is even better, because we have a lot of data, we have a lot of dashboard, but we don't have a lot of time. So we need to have a maximum of push infos also to help save us time and detect anything. For example, here it's an alerting which has been implemented on Content Square based on artificial intelligence that we receive on a daily basis as soon as they detect an abnormal evolution of a KPI that we have defined. That could be the case also for loading time. And now I would like to showcase you a video. So So a video, sorry, it's loading. Yeah, frustrating, right? Not a good experience, huh? We don't like to wait. Indeed. That was, of course, made on purpose, but the message here is that indeed the web performance is the #1 frustration. So it's just after. It's the #1 frustration factor. And this is from the Content Square Digital Experience Benchmark of 23. Here again, a study has been done. Waiting for a website and slow web pages increase your heart rate by 38%, which is the equivalent of stress level that you can feel when you look at an horror movie alone in your house. So, of course, very, very bad experience. And if we talk about also pyramids and UX hierarchy, the speed is the UX expectation #1. So, as we love 3 letters acronyms, I would say that, by the way, WPO is CRO, and indeed here I talk about web performance optimization. And it's good for user, it's good for UX, but it's good for SEO also, and it's part now of the, not now since a long time, but part of the page experience of Google, and especially with the Core Web Vitals. So as you can see here, 3-letter acronyms again, LCP, FID, CLS. I will not go over in details, but of course, it's good because we switch from a tech topic to a user experience topic. And here we talk about the loading, perception, the interactivity, and the visual stability. And ENP will replace the FID in March 24. So, as said before, acquisition cost is increasing. And if you spend a lot and after you have a slow website and people leave, it's for nothing. So, of course, it's really important for SEO also for another reason, because faster website, it's an opportunity to crawl more pages and so at the end, optimize your indexations. If you provide a good experience, it's also a good signal for Google. So you will have a higher ranking on the SERP and better click-through rates at the end, because lower bounce rates, better engagements. It's organic traffic. If we talk now about the paid traffic, SEA, for instance, it's an opportunity to have a better quality score, so a better ad ranking, a lower CPC, and if you have a higher conversion at the end, it's a better ROI and ROAS of your campaigns. And last but not least, WebPerf is good also for the planet and for accessibility, because slower websites is an opportunity to reduce the energy consumptions. We talked in the introduction about the digital carbon footprint. Digital represents 3 to 4% of global CO2 emissions. So here again, it's an opportunity to contribute to reduce it. And if we talk about accessibility, of course, when you want to access a mobile on your phone, when you have, I would say, low cost or not the last iPhone, of course, it will be even slower because it's not so powerful versus the last mobile phone. So improving also your WebPerf is a way to improve the internet accessibility. Last slide, I have created a community, We Love eMerch. So it's the first reference community for eMerchandiser. So if you are eMerch or if you know any eMerch who could be interesting in your network, please spread the word. There is a community in LinkedIn gathering already 133 members. So do not hesitate. So my last word will be, let's raise the bar, improving our standards and provide the best experience possible as we can for our users. Thank you.
I think this is a good conclusion. And so we can go to the Q&A sessions. I have a question. So they're asking if you use generative AI to process clients' feedback.
Yes, exactly. We use ChatGPT. So two things. First of all, in Ojar, there is an AI feature also who help us to detect the trends, which is a way to use it. And for example, the last one, I was talking about the survey, generating almost 20% of response rates. A lot of questions were open feedback. So it's very long, time consuming to analyze everything in all languages. So it's an opportunity also with ChatGPT to put all the open feedback into the tool, and after ask for a sum up, and you have very powerful tool as you work on the prompts and very good qualified prompts, and you save a lot of time. So here, for example, are two examples of that. And we also working in the innovation lab on WhatsApp, because in the park with the app, the client, the customers is able to contact the reception to ask some questions. A lot of it are really regular questions, and we don't save time. So we are working on a POC also with a startup to integrate ChatGPT into WhatsApp to process all the feedback questions and provide automatic one, and have, I would say, conversational using the Gen AI also on that way. We have a lot more, but that's some examples on that.
Thank you. We have another question. That is, what are the trends you're seeing in funnel that you are considering using in order to optimize customer journey further?
Yes, I guess that's for me. Well, there are maybe two trends that are standing out for us right now. You were talking a little bit about it before, Agnes, with CDP. CDP has been on the minds for many of us for many years, but it's starting to become even more obvious that we need to solve it once and for all. And I work in a SaaS environment where we have a product, so to tie together actual customer product data with marketing and commercial data is crucial. So that's one trend that we are trying to find our way how we can utilize it. And the other thing is to perhaps leverage AI in order to, in many areas, but mainly for landing page and traffic optimization. How can we align ads and landing pages in a more efficient way, I guess. Those are two things we are contemplating.
Thank you. I don't know if we have other questions. We have one.
Is that to me, perhaps?
what are the reasons for the gap between marketing and data?
I interpret that question as what is the gap between our marketing data and our product data, perhaps, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's basically just a result of two different, well, you can call it silos. We have the product data, we have the product that we built out for many years, and then we have the marketing data, which we've used mainly to acquire leads. And we have never really joined that data in any efficient way. We can combine it manually, but we haven't built this proper identity resolution or customer data platform solution to tie it together.
Kripa, I hope it answers your question. The other question, what is the main trend, best practice we need to pay attention to in the coming months? Papa, I'll let you answer maybe.
I think all of them. We basically identified those 5 trends. There are, of course, more trends, but we decided to reduce it to the short list of 5 trends that are all important. So CDPs are more and more present. ChatGPT and chatbots using generative AI is also something very present, and we'll see it more and more in our daily life and when we go through the web. So maybe those 2 are sticking out the most among the 5, but I think all 5 trends will be more and more present in our daily life.
Yeah, and I would have a special mention maybe for CSR topics, because at least at Equancy for us, it's something super important, and I know it's the case also at Center Parcs. So it's something that is really crucial and that is more included in the brand's strategy. And as Laurent showed it impacts the performances of the digital campaigns. So to me, it's also one of the key trend to pay attention to in the coming month. Okay, so I think that was the last question. I have Corentin typing, so we will wait for Corentin's question. And then after Corentin is not typing anymore? Okay. So Corentin, don't hesitate to ask or send an email if you have a question afterwards. Thank you for joining this webinar. It was really interesting to exchange with all of you guys. Again, if you have any question, don't hesitate to reach out. We'll be really pleased to answer. And I have the question. Me too, Barry. So I was a Center Parcs employee. So thank you, all of you, and don't hesitate to reach out if you have any questions. Pay attention to your customer journey because it's really important, as we said, and put yourself in customer shoes and make sure that you accelerate your business by focusing on what your clients are saying. Thank you all. Have a nice day and see you soon for the next webinar.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Everyone, bye.
Bye.